What's up? What's happening? You already know who it is and what it is. It's your boy Q Walker, aka Nephew Q, host of the world's most dangerous sports show, Beyond the Game. Here to continue giving my Bucs breakdown week 2 of the NFL training camp. But before we get into all of that, I want everybody to make sure they subscribe to the YouTube channel. Share this. Make sure you tell a friend to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, subscribe to the podcast on all major podcast streaming platforms, or you can download the Beyond the Game app on your Android or iPhone by typing in KY Beyond the Game, all one word, in the Google Play Store or in the App Store. Now let's get into the Bucs breakdown week 2 training. There was some big news coming out of Bucs training camp, but the biggest news is not the news you guys think of, but I'll get to that in a second. But one of the big news coming out of Bucs training camp is the signing of wide receiver Julio Jones. Now, the Bucs signed him to a 1-year, $6 million deal for this upcoming season. The reports are that Todd Bowles went to the wide receiving core of Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Russell Gage, and took the temperature of these guys to ask them, how would you feel about us bringing in Julio Jones into the equation? Apparently, all of the guys signed off on it, so Julio Jones is now the Tampa Bay Buccaneer. Also, Todd Bowles said that look forward to Julio Jones replacing the catches that would have went to Rob Gronkowski. So look at Julio Jones for playing a pivotal role in this offense. Shout out to my fellow Tampa Bay Buccaneer, Ike Barron, who came to me with this. He said, look for Julio Jones to be in situational and red zone. So you got 6'4" Julio on one end, 6'5" Mike Evans on the other end, jump ball, lob city all day long. Now, the only concern I have with the signing of Julio Jones is we don't know how healthy he's going to be. He's only played 19 games the previous 2 seasons, so we don't know if he can be healthy to sustain a full season. So really want to keep a close eye on that. The wide receiving core for the Tampa Bay Bucs is very talented. You have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, who's working his way back from ACL injury, Russell Gage, and then you also have Julio. Scotty Miller is also in the equation, Tyler Johnson. So they're really a lot of depth at the wide receiver position. But anyways, enough about Julio Jones. So let's get to the biggest news coming out of Bucs camp, and the most important news coming out of Bucs camp is the injury to starting center Ryan Jensen. Yes, so this is important for a lot of different reasons. Now, one of the reasons why it's important is that Tom Brady has now lost 3 starting offensive linemen from the Tampa Bay Bucs Super Bowl title team. That's left guard Ali Marpet, who retired this offseason. You now have center Ryan Jensen, who's gone down with a significant knee injury, which I'll get into that in a second. And then you have right guard Alex Kappa, who is now a Cincinnati Bengal. 3 starting offensive linemen are now no longer going to be playing for the Tampa Bay Bucs this season. Now, Ryan Jensen, they haven't disclosed exactly what the knee injury is at this point. So it could be anywhere from he's gone for a lengthy amount of time to season-ending injury. But the reports are, as of right now, it does not look too good. But like I stated, he's having an MRI done on his knee today, and they're going to see the severity of the injury so they can diagnose how long he should be out or if it's going to be a season-ending injury. Now, the Bucs are going to be very young on the offensive line. They're going to go with guys who have had limited playing time to no playing time at all. But one of the guys who they're looking forward to stepping up, next man up idea is going to be, 3rd round pick Robert Hainsey. Now, the Bucs picked him in the 3rd round of the 2021 draft. He's already gained the confidence of Tom Brady, but, like I mentioned, Tom Brady is an older quarterback. Those who've been watching Tom Brady knows that everything is precision and timing with him. So the offensive line has to be on one accord for this guy. So, it's really important that this offensive line really gel and get it together during training camp and the preseason. I would look to see this offensive line get a lot of playing time during the preseason games to get that continuity together and to try to decide who's going to be the starting guys on this offensive line. Look for the Bucs to possibly bring in some veteran leadership on this offensive line. I'm thinking of a guy like Eric Flowers, maybe bringing him in just to add a little bit of depth to this already decimated offensive line. But anyways, continuing on with some good news coming out of Bucs training camp. Chris Godwin has been cleared to cleared to practice for training camp. He doesn't have to be put on the PUP list that would have required him to miss the first, 7, 8 weeks of the season. This way, the Bucs can gradually bring him along, and if he's ready to play sooner than later, they don't have to worry about trying to rush him back because he had that ACL injury. He had surgery in January, I believe it is, and this is a quick recovery for anybody, outside of Adrian Peterson, but he's not going to be limited to playing only the second half of the season. So if he's ready to play sooner than later, Chris Godwin can go ahead and start making his appearance in Tampa Bay Bucs games. But anyways, a few other key notes for the Tampa Bay Bucs for training camp. Look for them to add, for me personally, I still think they should add some depth for edge rusher. D Ford was just released by the San Francisco 49ers, so I would like to see the Tampa Bay Bucs look in his direction about possibly bringing him in. Now, maybe he doesn't see Tampa Bay as a fit because it looks like Tampa Bay already has their starting edge rushers. But nonetheless, I think the Bucs I mentioned last week about Carlos Dunlap. I would like to see the Bucs bring in another pass rusher or two to add some depth to that defensive pass rush. But speaking of outside linebackers, another key note is that Larry Foote, former Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker, has now been moved to inside linebacker. He was the outside linebackers coach since 2019 when he joined the Bucs. But the reason why this is important is because during his tenure coaching the outside linebackers, every single year he's had an all-pro player. Shaq Barrett made the Pro Bowl. I'm sorry, not All-Pro, Pro Bowl. Shaq Barrett made the Pro Bowl team twice, and Jason Pierre-Paul made it once. So 2019, it was Shaq Barrett. 2020, it was Jason Pierre-Paul. In 2021, it was Shaq Barrett again. So now he's moving to the inside linebackers position, so it might help Devin White go to another level. So I would not be surprised if you see Devin White and a lot of defensive player of the year conversations based on what Larry Foote has done for the outside linebackers. Now he's going to be with a phenomenal freak athlete like Devin White, so maybe he can take his game up to another level and look for a bounce back season from Levante David as well. But anyways, that's been my Bucs breakdown for week 2 of the NFL training camp season. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and also subscribe to the podcast on all major podcast streaming platforms. Also, make sure you download the Beyond the Game app on your Android or iPhone by typing in KY Beyond the Game, all one word, in the Google Play Store or the App Store. I've already taken up too much of your time. This has been week 2 of NFL training camp Bucs breakdown, and as always, this is your boy Nephew Q telling you to treat somebody how you want somebody to treat your mama. And I'm up at this thing, y'all. See y'all next week. Peace.